G'day prospectors, Tony Pilkington from Gold Talk Leonora on a little bit of a funny looking day. I for one am a huge fan of so-called climate change, global warming, and I think the drier and the hotter the better. But you know, I'm into dry gravity concentration, so I'm into dry blowing, and wet and windy weather like this doesn't do me any good. So there you go. I'm sure I'll receive lots of interesting comments about that. So this is one of the most important little talks that I've done, or should I say on the most important topic with regards to prospecting. I know I'm going to be sounding a bit like, you know, I'm bloody telling you to do this and I'm telling you to do that, and it's not my intent, but I guess it's the way it's sort of going to work out a little bit. And what I wanted to talk to you about was safety, your own personal safety out here. In our training courses, I talk about it quite a bit, but I just want to really touch on one point. It's the most bizarre thing. I mean, and maybe people get gold fever or they're just from the city and don't know. I'm not too sure, but we spend damn near a fortune on prospecting equipment, and it might be $8,000 or $10,000 on a metal detector, and you know, there's plenty of people and they spend a couple of $100,000 on a van and a tow vehicle, and away they go. And but they forget the most important thing is what's going to happen when you get lost. And bottom line is, if you're out here for any length of time, well, the length of time is actually irrelevant. If you come out to these areas, sooner or later you're going to get lost. Okay, what I'd say is that when Mum and Dad were dragging me around the bush when I was a young bloke, they were different days, and sort of back in the 1970s, I think we'll say, somewhere around there, because there were no GPSs available for the general public. There was none of these, well, there wasn't any mobile phones, there was none of these apps, you know, with Trilobite and what have you on them. There was nothing. There was no satellite phones, there was no communications, there was just really nothing much going on. So back in them days, a little bit of survival skills was quite an important thing. And what I'm not talking about today is survival. There's far more better qualified people than myself to be talking about that. But what I am sort of, or the direction I'm coming from, is someone that lives and works out in this environment, out in the bush. And again, they are only my opinions, but based on a lot of experience. And what I'd say is that if you need survival skills, you have failed. Okay, and I can't think of any situation where you need survival skills. All right? If you need survival skills, in my humble opinion, you have failed. So where does that leave us? The most important thing is that you need a reliable form of communications. What I'd say is this, is that, you know, the funny thing about prospecting and prospectors is that, particularly when people are starting off, it's the whole secret squirrel thing. You don't want someone to know where you're going, and you'll get experienced people like me telling you to keep your mouth shut and don't tell anyone where you're going, so it's no wonder. The thing is, and this is just like a made-up scenario, but you know, hundreds of people every day of the week are leaving caravan parks across goldfields towns like Leonora, and you know, they're heading out into the bush 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 Ks, somewhere like that. And if we make a scenario up, which is not out of the realms of possibility, they get a couple of flats, then how are they going to get back home again, and how are they going to let anyone know? Now the thing is, all right, so their next door neighbour at the caravan park that they had a beer with last night can quite easily say, look, you know, Billy Bob's missing. He hasn't come back in, and he should have been back by 5 p.m. The question is, if he's kept to himself, where is someone going to start searching for them? You're not. There's nothing you can do. Apart from starting to put pieces of the puzzle together and then try and work it out. But mate, it's the margin of error increases a lot. So unless there is somewhere to start a search, why bother searching? It's a big country. Just my humble opinion. So it brings us down to a couple of things, is that we either let people know where we're going and when we're going to be back, which is the old school way of doing it. No one does it. Everyone wants to play secret squirrel once again. The local Leonora Police have a great initiative where you can basically use them to log in and log out. You can fill out a form and say where you're going and what you're doing, but I don't know this for sure, but I don't imagine a lot of people actually avail themselves of the service, shall we say. So it leaves us with one thing, and that is a reliable form of communications. Because what I can assure you is that the smartest option that a prospector has out here is to take care of things themselves, right? To be able to get yourself out of a situation and not rely on emergency services, including the police. It is the smartest thing that you can do. So what's a reliable form of communications? A mobile phone is not a reliable form of communications. Everyone believes it is. It ain't, not up here. Telstra is the only network that's worth even considering. All your other ones, just forget it. Telstra is the only thing that works in the towns. And a satellite phone is really, again, your smartest option in terms of a reliable form of communications. What I'd say is that without any doubt at all these days, that with the advent of more and more mine sites and their telephone booster towers or whatever the doohickeys are, there's a lot of places where you can get a phone signal with your mobile phone, but it is still not reliable. What Lisa and I do is that unless we're way out in the sticks, where there's no phone reception anywhere, we will always camp where we know we've got phone reception so we can use our mobile phone. But we always have our satellite phone as our backup, okay? These days, there's a lot of different sat phones on the markets and sleeves that you can use for your smartphone. Do your own research. There's good and bad comments about all of them. Nothing is 100% reliable. Days like today where you've got 100% cloud cover, satellite phones will struggle, just the way it is. So it leaves us with the most important thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is a personal locator beacon. I'm known as a bit of a blunt instrument at times, but my humble opinion again is that anyone who comes up here without a personal locator beacon is dumb, right? Is really, really dumb. I feel so strongly about it that I think that every person that comes up here, so, hubby and wife comes up from Mandurah, he's got a personal locator beacon, she should have a personal locator beacon as well and know how to use them. Getting turned around, and I've been lost out here once, but did a good job of it. Getting turned around up here happens in a heartbeat. And it can be as simple as going out at night, in the middle of the night for a pee, and all of a sudden you get turned around and you're not sure where you are and you walk in the wrong direction and you're stuffed. And that can be the person that is detecting or the person that's, minding the camp. It makes no difference. I reckon everyone should have one. They're about, God, what was the last ones we bought? I think about $300 or something, but let's say $400 for a personal locator beacon. Yes, I know it's money. But look, ring Denise down at the Prospectors Pick in Bunbury and just buy one and get her to send you one. You do need to register with them online, but the way a personal locator beacon basically works is that if you believe that you're in a life-threatening situation, and my tolerance or my sort of threshold level is very, very low, if I'm going, no, this isn't right, I would activate it. Okay, that's just me. No point being a dead hero. But if you believe that you're in a life-threatening situation, you activate the personal locator beacon, and often that, depending on the brand, that'll be by sort of flipping up an antenna and pressing a big red button that says emergency. Pretty obvious. And what happens is that will, via satellite, it'll make a signal that will be picked up eventually by the Emergency Response Centre in Canberra. They contact Perth Police, Kalgoorlie Police, Leonora Police. Someone comes and gets you eventually. Yes, it is eventually. Often it's within a few hours or very early the next morning. Don't think for a second up here that, you know, you activate the EPIRB and the choppers are going to be flying over the hill like Apocalypse Now to get you. Because remember that I think in WA there's 4 rescue helicopters. May have that wrong. I think there's only 4 and they're all down in the southwest. There's nothing up here. So it's going to be the local coppers and or the local pastoralist, if there is one, to come and get you. All right, but that is the smartest option you can have. And again, if you're up here prospecting or doing whatever you're doing without one, you're bonkers. People can and do go missing. And for $400, let's say, why wouldn't you? You do, as I said, have to register to them, but there's no yearly or monthly, there's no service charge for them. They last, I think it's 10 years. And, you know, the best safety gear, I sort of put it in the same category as tyre repair gear. You buy good quality gear and hope you never have to use it or not use it much. And the best safety gear, like a PLB, the best one is that you throw out or you dispose of responsibly after 10 years and you've never used it. I mean, that's the whole idea about this, is hopefully you'll never have to bloody use it, but it's there if you do. When we run our training courses, but more particularly when we take people out bush on our Aussie Gold Rush camps, I've got a few sort of hard and fast rules, and one of them is that anyone attending has a personal locator beacon. And for me, it's not optional. You know, I just would not take someone out bush without one. The thing about communications and getting yourself out of problem is that so much of the safety and survival information, I think, is not out of date, but things have changed since the 70s because satellite phones and PLBs are affordable or exist. And the sort of scenario that another one that I'd say is that, you know, people say, well, always stay with your vehicle, and that's 100% correct. You always stay with your vehicle. However, if you're that person that's left the caravan park at 6 a.m. and no one knows where you are, and your car's pooped itself 60 k's out of Leonora, no one is going to be coming looking for you if they don't know where to start looking. So my question is, how long do you intend to stay with your vehicle for? What, until you die of thirst? The point is you do stay with your vehicle, but it's not the point. The point is, if you have a reliable form of communications, you can call somebody. You can call the local coppers and say, look, I'm in a bit of strife here. I need a little bit of help, please. Hopefully you can see where I'm going with this. Any questions, as with all these little talks and things that I'm trying to do, is they're sort of experience-based perspectives, having been involved in looking for people and all the rest of it. So I hope that it's sort of accepted in that regard. Lisa and I are flat out at the moment. We've still been dry blowing up until a couple of days ago, and we just bought machinery in for a little bit of love and attention. We've got another couple of 3-day training courses running in Leonora, and then we're excited. We're starting our a little summer series down in Mandurah again. I think it's October the 23rd. We've got the first of the 1-day courses starting there, and if you go to our website, you can suss that out and check it out, and book in and come along and say g'day. As with all of our everything that we do, if there's anything particular you want to learn about or hear about, just let us know. Get in touch with us, and I'll do a little video on it. It's not a problem at all. As long as you don't ask dumb questions like, where do you find the gold? Well, that's actually not a dumb question. I think I'll do a video on that next time. Anyway, catch you prospectors.